When you said it alone,
Yeah.
you can't. Yoshimura, okay.
Yeah.
What part of Los Angeles were you born?
Burbank.
Burbank,
If you know
okay.
where that is.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I'm not really near this LA area, so
Yeah, it's not a very interesting area.
so the first question is how do you balance enjoying your wealth and long-term financial plannings?
So invest early. Um, and always think about like not overspending. Having
Mm,
a good grasp of your finances is always, I think, pretty important.
yeah.
I've never been a frivolous spender per se, but there's always like a general cap that I have a understanding on like
Okay.
how much money I should be spending. I think choose the way you live your life. There's pretty secure ways to spend your money up to like there's like this trope that people say where it's like the first 100,000, right? Like Charlie Munger, who just passed away recently, but Warren Buffett's right hand man. Um, it's like the first 100,000 is really hard to make, but after $100,000, it's like exponentially easier to become a millionaire because you invest in the market, you get 10% return on it, and then you put another 10K and 10% of 110. Just compound interest
Yeah.
is like one of the most powerful things in the world. But getting to that 100K, or whatever amount it is, to build your foundational wealth, like being as disciplined as possible at that point in how you think about your wealth as a mindset until you get to that point, and then starting to give yourself more leniency so you can
Yeah.
enjoy your life, I think is a good way to find that balance that I've been doing.
That's very motivating. Like, it's just the consistency that's really happening, the discipline.
How often do you spend $1 on anything?
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like $1 million is not that far off, right? When you think about it that way.
It really isn't, yeah. How has your mindset or attitude towards money changed as you attain millionaire status?
Um, I mean, I'm a millionaire on paper, but I'm like because of my assets and everything, but I'm not like a millionaire in liquid, so it's a little bit different. Um, it's I think there's one thing to be afraid of money, but then there's like another thing to be um like too careful with it in a way where you don't spend it because you like hold it too tight. You value money too much. Um, I think when I was first struggling and like trying to get as much money as I can to allow myself to pursue my goals, I would look at other people who would have like these tech jobs and they're making like 100+ grand a year and being like, damn, like I wish I could do that. But in reality, I made a very distinctive choice to want to pursue the career I wanted to pursue. And then built like a financial buffer while trying to pursue that. And I think, I have a lot of other artist friends that absolutely love, but they love the art side of it, more
Yeah,
than like
okay.
the making the money with the art side of it. And that's okay, you know, but it's, you know, setting your priorities. So what do you feel is most important? And for me, I felt that having that financial buffer always and foundation will allow me to not have to think about it in a way where I could pursue my things that I want to pursue a lot more.
Yeah, no, I agree,
So,
definitely. So you didn't mention about career. Thinking about before you even created this whole neural product or the company, sorry. What were you thinking? How am I gonna do this? And what am I gonna do?
I don't think I was really thinking,
Yeah.
you know, like I mentioned in the talk, but it's like, I think there's analysis paralysis that a lot of people fall into where they think too much about something and how it needs to be perfect to launch in this way. And the reality is like, you're not going to get it perfect because you've never done it before. You're not going to know how it's going to go. So just do it. And if you fail, but you're still passionate about it, like what is failure? Like what even is failure? You know, like that's your own definition
Wow,
of
yeah.
what you feel is might happen. Like I've had moments where the company was negative, whatever, a lot of money, you know, cash flowing inventory with like whatever, like ARAP, right? Like
Yeah.
accounts receivable, account payable. But that's not failure. I know companies that are like Uber is literally burning like $5 billion a quarter or something crazy like that, you know? It's like, how do you define failure? How do you define success? Set those boundaries and then move forward.
Okay, so how do you define failure and how do you define success?
Damn, I wasn't ready for that. The way again, like I think the way I define failure is when there's absolutely no hope to continue pursuing what you want to pursue, and the chances of that happening are like literally 0% in my, like, at least in my head.
Okay.
You know, if there's no opportunity for me to get working capital, if there's no opportunity to even do a down round to raise more money to build this business or sell it to like a PE firm or like whatever it is, like, to me that's at a business level failure. Again, at a personal level, or like this is also at a business level for my employees, that are like my teammates. If I have to let them go, then that's failure on my part as my position. So I think it's just defining it in whatever, like, categorically, whatever you define success and failure at. Like one of our, under the people pillar that I was talking about, the corporate soaps, operations, brand, people, because people make a company. 90% retention rate. If the people I work with aren't getting retained because I'm not giving them the proper direction, or we're not making a great product, or we're not doing something right, then that's on me. And that's my failure.
Yeah. Okay.
But if we're doing it at a whole company level and everything, also where we can't even raise money and like can't survive, with corporation being separate from like the people that work within it, then that's a different type of failure. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I
You
get that.
know,
It's more about accountability. And
yeah,
talking more about like a more mental thing, what are about 5 to 6 emotional ingredients that you would put into a company?
5 to 6 emotional ingredients.
Yes.
It's a good question. Um, Passion, but passion without being too emotionally, uh, like even in like a
Or
relationship, you
like
can't be
too
too passionate,
attached.
right? You can't be
Yeah.
too attached. Like passion while retaining a sense of yourself. Like, so passion, um, while not giving away too much of your identity to just the business. Um, is one emotional element. Another one is a little bit of fear, knowing that like yes, failure is a mindset to a degree, but
Yes.
knowing that, like, when I think about like even like countries that end up having these crazy dictators that run the place into the ground, like because they don't have like their country into the ground. To me, it's because they don't have that fear of, they, they literally don't have fear. They have too much ego, right?
Yeah, I get that.
Um,
Like they're afraid. They're not afraid of failure. They just want the success. They want that sort
yeah.
of
So you need to have a little bit
outcome.
of fear,
Hmm.
and like that fear could come in terms of like, damn, my team might not be able to eat, if the
Yeah.
company goes under. Like there's just a little bit of ego, obviously. Like that's always important, um, because you need that confidence to push forward. Um, 5 and 6 is a lot. And then I guess like the last one I would put is like, love isn't the right word, but like something where it's all like kindness or care. I would say as
Yeah.
like an emotional attribute, where like knowing that every single day, we all show up with each other for the single goal to build this thing, then mix it all up, turn into a soup.
Sounds nice. Yeah. Because me personally, I read a lot of books. So the book that I like personally, my favorite book is the 12 emotional ingredients to like manage a business.
Oh,
So
I've
that's
never
why I
heard
came
that.
out with the question. You remember that one?
No, I need to read that.
You should read it.
Oh,
It's a
I'll for
really
sure
good
read
book.
it.
Yeah. It has mentioned like passion. I think passion has a lot of mentioned a lot of emotions that are based upon really having to fire someone and having to hire.
Yeah,
So it's really like
it's like
a
the hardest
balanced
thing.
thing. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it's called 12 and a half ingredients. I believe so.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out. That's great.
Okay. So last question because I don't want to keep too much of your time.
Yeah, no, you're good.
How do you use your wealth to contribute positively to your community or to make a difference in the world?
So again, like you keep using the word wealth, but I'm not that wealthy.
Yeah.
Uh, um, the way, so whether it's even doing something like this, I think it's really important to at least, like, there's a part of me that wishes that I went to more things like this when I was in school.
Mhm.
You know, I advise for companies, and these are kind of like the easier things to do. But other things I always also try to do is, um, I do think my art is like a skill that I cherish that allows me to visually like transform a space or represent something to a space or a certain culture or people. And um, a lot of the time, I leverage that passion into the arts to give back to the community. So, for one example, um, we shot a whole documentary on this, but I was in Alaska a few years ago, on this little island called Shishmaref that's was like it's literally sinking
Mhm. Oh wow.
by like 15 square feet every single year, and it's going to be one of the first places that's going to have a refugee crisis in the United States because of
Really?
climate
Okay.
change.
I haven't heard about it.
And I went up there to with like my film team, to paint a mural for that community of like only 500 people that live on this island,
Oh, that's good.
and
Yeah.
just to be able to share that story, right? And I think that has nothing to do with wealth. That has just something to do with effort, time, and being able to like listen. I guess
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and I don't think people need to attribute wealth to needing wealth to have to help someone,
Hmm.
because we all do it most people do it every single day without money.
So leading to another question is, what is one word that will describe you?
Yeah, it's a hard question. One word to describe me? Um, the first word that comes to my head, although like the last piece of advice I gave at that talk was like it's resilient,
Resilience.
resilient. Um, but again, resilient in a way where, sometimes like back in the day, I feel like when I made mistakes, it would stick with me.
Hmm.
Now I'm sure I probably make like 1,000 mistakes a day and I don't even think about it. I just kind of keep marching forward. And I think that's just a part of getting older and having more experience.
Hmm.
I'm like twice as old as all you guys here. Um, but when I was younger, you kind of tend to overthink so many things, which is not bad either, because overthinking leads to you being comfortable with something. But um, over the years, I kind of just like learned how to become more resilient,
Yeah. Okay. So more moving on to your mistakes is actually learning from it. Is that one of the things?
understanding how to tackle it because I've seen it all before.
Yeah. Okay.
you
Makes more
know,
sense.
and then sometimes we see new mistakes or like new things come up, like you know, whatever, like a lawsuit or something from some company that might try to throw us under the bus, and
Oh yeah.
like I don't know, that's happened to us before.
Oh yeah.
So I know how to handle it. Like situations where it's like frivolous,
Uh-huh.
like in terms of a lawsuit where like some guy's just like, hey, like I choked on this gum, like we get like these random ones all the time,
Oh yeah.
where it's like obviously people trying to make money off us because they see us on TV or something. But
Makes sense. It's just so
um,
unexpected. So yeah.
I remember the first time it happened, I was like, "Oh my god, this like guy's gonna put our company under. He's gonna like come after us." And then just yeah, just understanding how to like every hurdle you could overcome. Every hurdle is just another step that might be bigger or smaller, but you could get over.
Definitely. So up to the final question. So you'll be final this time. As a child, what was your dream?
I wanted to be an artist for sure.
Hmm.
Like my dad wasn't really around when I was growing up, so I think you know, there like my aspirations for sports and doing those things weren't really there until later.
Hmm.
But I was in the karate studio every day because my parents, like my dad was gone all the time. My mom worked. So I grew up in that environment, which led me to fighting, which I absolutely loved. But then those times when I wasn't fighting, I was just like drawing all the time because that's kind of what was available to me.
Yeah,
And I like those are the two things I still love now, and
that's great.
those are the things I like learned to love then.
Yeah, well, I think this would be all.
Cool.
Yeah, it
Thank you
was
so
pretty long,
much.
so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
no, it's
okay.
good, Raga. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and for this Q&A. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet you
much.
again.
You guys
Yeah.
are awesome.